How's it going, guys? It's the Pixelate Pumpkin, and in today's video, I'll be discussing Party City Halloween 2022 lineup that got leaked very recently. I'll be going in depth and giving my thoughts and opinions and doing a little bit of analyzing of each prop picture that was revealed so far. A lot of this stuff is techie toys, and I have to say the goriness and the scariness of these props seems to be back on the level of how Spirit Halloween was back in the 2012, 2013, 2014 seasons. So, all things considered, right out the bat, I am very impressed and looking forward to Party City's lineup for this year. So, without any more hesitation, let's jump right in. Starting off with our first prop, we have the popcorn machine clown, and I'm going to be honest, I love this thing. Now, this thing, I'm surprised we haven't seen anything like this yet, not even remotely close. I was thinking we would probably get a cotton candy machine clown. I mean, we did have the girl in it a few years ago, Cotton Candace. But, I mean, this is the first time we've really seen anything like carnival related with actual clowns in it. Like, just normal carnival stuff that you would see, but with clowns mixed in. So this is actually really cool. I think that the clown inside is pretty scary. I do like how his head is open and the popcorn is inside. That's another cool touch. And it just looks like a really big prop. I'm not sure if it'll have animation, but I'm guessing it will have phrases. The mouth could possibly move, but I'm not 100% sure on that just yet. I mean, regardless, this is still an awesome looking clown. If it just lights up, I'd be fine with that as long as it's a pretty decent price at least. I'm guessing if it only lights up, this thing might be around $150, which is still a little expensive. I think that if it does light up, it should be around maybe $100 to $125. But knowing how prices are, I'm guessing it's going to be around $150 if it just lights up. But if it does have animation, I'm guessing it'll be in the $175 to $200 price range. But regardless, this still looks like a really cool circus/carnival prop. I really do love this one. It is a very unique thing, which I'm just honestly surprised we haven't seen something like this yet. So it is cool, and I'm just surprised, once again, that this is the first time we're really seeing something like this. But other than that, there really isn't much else to say about it. I like the design of the machine itself. The colors are nice, and I do like the font of the text they use. I think it could use a little bit more detail at the very bottom, but other than that, it looks cool. Here is our next prop, and if you have a keen eye, you might realize this guy looks nearly identical to Limb-Eating Zombie Boy. So this seems to be a remake, or not really a remake, but a reimagining of Limb-Eating Zombie Boy. Obviously, there's a lot different about this guy here. He's no longer holding a limb, he's holding a trick-or-treat basket, which is an addition I really don't like all that much. If I'm going to be honest, I'll just come right out and say it. I would have liked to see just a remake of Limb-Eating Zombie Boy 1-for-1, but still we got a brand new character here, so let's just jump right in with him. Obviously, this is a zombie boy who's crouching and covered in blood, so that is a very, very nice thing to see. The amount of blood they use on this prop is something you really don't see anymore for Halloween and animatronics, and just the kind of like the disturbing nature of this prop too. I really love the face there. I cannot wait to see what this does in action. That face looks gnarly and scary, so that is another awesome addition about this guy here. I just really love the disturbingness of this, considering we haven't seen really any creepy props in a very long time, in my opinion at least. I mean, Spirit Halloween and Home Depot last year were so kid-friendly, same with Party City, but seeing them making bloody props again is so cool. So just for that alone, I like this guy already, but there's just things I don't really like. For one, instead of him holding a limb like Limb-Eating Zombie Boy, he has a trick-or-treat bag. Again, I think most people would rather have just seen a return of Limb-Eating Zombie Boy. But still, this is still a cool prop, and I mean, if they wanted to make something new, I respect that. Maybe Spirit Halloween still has the rights for Limb-Eating Zombie Boy, so other companies can't use it. I mean, they are both techie props here. This is 100% a techie prop, this Zombie Boy, but I don't know. Overall, this is still a cool prop, but again, I would have just preferred to see a remake of a Limb-Eating Zombie Boy and not this kid holding a bag. But still, regardless, without him chewing on the hand or not, it is still a bloody and disturbing prop. Just not as much as Limb-Eating Zombie Boy. Our next prop is extremely unique, being a Rabid Raccoon jumping out of a trash can. Now, at first, that doesn't seem like it would be a very good Halloween prop, and I would have to agree, but after seeing photos of this thing, it actually looks really creepy, and it might not just be Rabid, this might be a zombified raccoon, and I honestly think this will make for a fantastic jump scare prop. So looking at it from the side angle here, I'll talk about what I think its animation will be first. So it looks like this thing will be popping out of this trash can. I'm guessing similar to Man's Possessed Friends animation. It just looks like it'll have that straightforward pop out motion, or kind of like a flip out motion, possibly, where inside the actual thing it's looking down at the ground, and then when it's pushed forward it gets pushed so it is looking straight out. So I'm not really sure what kind of jump scare it will be, but my best guess is again on similar to Man's Possessed Friends animation. And now for the design of it. I think the design of it looks sick. So I think the raccoon face itself looks really good, especially the claws too. Just the bloody details on it look great. Again with the blood, so much blood this year, I love it. But when it comes to the body, the fur really doesn't match the head at all, and it kind of makes him look like he's it's wearing clothes or something like that, which, I mean, I really don't like that all too much, but the blood on it is a cool detail still. So overall, I do think this is a very unique and cool prop. Not something I would get personally, but still it does look really cool and unique. The trash can itself too, it doesn't look at the best. It kind of looks like you could tell that it's just fabric, especially how you could see the springs basically holding it together inside. But I still think it looks decent, and especially in the dark, this will probably look like a realistic trash can. But overall, I still think it is a very unique prop, and I'm looking forward to see its animation. Next up, we have our 1,000,000th variation of Grave Grabbing Corpse, but this one's actually pretty cool. Now, as most of you know, I'm not a big fan of the Grave Grabbing Corpse props at all. I just think the way they look is so stupid. They're like really small too. I think the whole torso should be standing straight up and then have the arms crawling on the ground, but the way it's like laying down like this, it always looks so fake to me, and I was never really a big fan. I really did like the pumpkin patch one from last year at Halloween City and Party City, but this one, it's a clown. I know a lot of people wanted a clown one for a while, because I'm not exactly sure if it's the same one, but I know Moore's Costumes years and years ago had a clown version that never got released, and from what I remember, this thing looks pretty similar, so it might be the same, but I don't know. But still, it's cool to see finally a clown version of this get made, since I know so many people wanted it. But as for me, I really don't care all too much for it. So, I mean, I know it's fine that I don't like every prop, but I don't think it's bad. It's just not for me. Our next prop is probably my second favorite from Party City this year, being this amazing demon guy right here. I love this thing. Now, in my opinion, it looks pretty similar to Baphomet from Spirit Halloween last year, but so much better than him. I absolutely love this guy. So starting off with his most unique feature, it seems, is that he'll have fog capabilities, and the fog will blow out of his horns, which I think is such a cool and smart idea, and I just cannot wait to see this thing in action with the fog on. I feel like that is going to look so awesome with fog coming out of both of the horns there. That is just such a smart and cool idea to me, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. As you can see in this photo, he lights up as well. It looks like his hands and his head will light up, and I'm guessing his arms will move up and down, and his head will probably turn from side to side as well. He'll probably say a few phrases, but it looks like he won't have mouth animation, which is a little bit of a disappointment, but considering his head does light up, that pretty much confirms the fact that his head will be plastic and not have mouth animation, as it looks like his head is in just one part, which I'm fine with, and especially with the fog, it'll probably make it a lot easier to break if it had mouth animation, so really, I'm alright with him not having mouth animation, but still really cool here. I also love the tail he has too. That is something I would not expect to see on many Halloween props, considering it would probably take up a lot of space, but the way they put it makes it look like it's twisted to the side a little bit, so that is just another awesome feature. I'm getting so many creepy, satanic, cult-like vibes from this dude. I think if you set him up in the middle of a bunch of cult members, like in the middle of a pentagram somewhere, if you're doing a Halloween display that has like satanic stuff in it, this would be the perfect prop for that. Definitely way better than Baphomet from Spirit Halloween last year. I just love the way this guy looks. And also how he looks all molten and stuff, very similar to the fire zombie or molten zombie. I forget what he's called, honestly, from Spirit Halloween. He has that same kind of texturing on his hands, head, and legs, which is just so cool. So overall, this is definitely my second favorite this year. We haven't got to my first favorite yet, but really, this guy is awesome. Now we have more of a cuter and less scary Halloween prop, which I'll discuss briefly here. So these seem to be another, I guess, kind of inspired by, or another, at least very similar, I should say, to the Pumpkin Twins from Home Depot. These are basically the same concept, just different creatures, and I like that a lot, actually. I like the ghost and the skeleton here. I think those were two cool Halloween creatures to choose from. And other than that, I don't think they are as good as the Pumpkin Twins, but still, they're alright, I guess. I don't like the big red eyes they have. That just seems like a weird inclusion to me. I guess it looks fine for the ghost, but for the skeleton, I'm not really liking those eyes on him. But overall, it seems like another cool and unique variation of the Pumpkin Twins. Obviously, it was definitely inspired by those two. And, I mean, if they have good phrases, that will kind of make or break the prop for me. But just from the photos alone, they look alright. Definitely not my favorite, but still, I'm sure there is a market for this for a lot of people. Just, again, really not for me personally. Our next prop is a clown that looks awesome. Alright, so I'm going to analyze this immediately by saying I wholeheartedly 100% think this will be a 12-foot clown, very similar to the 12-foot skeleton from Home Depot, of course. Now, you might be wondering, how would they get this to be a 12-foot character? It looks like it requires so many more materials and just looks so much bigger. And I would agree with you there. I'm still kind of ratcheting my head around how this guy will be able to be 12 feet. But if you look at the base, that is 100% the same base that they use for all the 12-foot characters. It is gigantic, that base, and you could just tell that that is the exact same base that they use for the 12-foot skeleton and everything like that. So this seems to be a 12-foot clown variant of the 12-foot skeleton, but this thing looks completely different, and if I'm being honest, out of all those 12-foot props, this is easily, 100% without a doubt, my favorite out of all of them. I think it looks way better than the werewolf from Home Depot. It might also, again, not be 12 feet, much like the werewolf, that being only 10 feet. This could be 10 feet as well, so don't get your hopes up, but it's only 2 feet shorter, so I think it is either going to be a 12 or 10-foot prop, but it does have that giant base, so it is going to be one of those two. So, just for the clown itself, I'll get into how it looks now. That face, that giant head, looks freaky. There's just something so creepy about the way this clown looks, and I love it. This is a very scary face for the clown, which I would not expect. I would expect for a more goofy clown, and to be honest, this thing just looks freaky as hell. The color choices here, too, the color scheme they're going for works really well too. I do like the yellow ruffles, and just the designs on his clothing as well look good. I think it is a good color scheme, and I don't think the red and yellow don't look too much like Ronald McDonald, just a little bit though, especially with that yellow. It's coming very close to the Ronald McDonald yellow colors, but still, it does not look like it really at all in my opinion. This is just an awesome, towering clown right here. As for its animation, I'm not sure if it'll have any. I'm guessing it's going to have phrases, though, and it looks like those eyes and probably the nose will light up as well, which is cool. So overall, this thing is awesome. It's not my favorite. It might be my third or fourth, and I'm not big on clowns, as most of you know, but when they're done right, this being an example, it turns out incredible. So I'm just looking forward to seeing this guy's animation, if it has it, or his phrases, again, if it has it. I'm sure it will have phrases, though, but really, this thing looks awesome. Our next prop is yet another clown, but this time it's a stakeable prop, not being a full life-size character, just being the upper torso, and obviously the rest of its body is just a pole that you could stake into the ground, which I think is interesting. But regardless, this seems like a pretty unique prop. Now, just from the photo alone, there really isn't too much assumptions we can make as to what its animation will be, what it'll say, and really what it will do. But just from the photo alone, it looks like a pretty unique clown character. The color scheme here is kind of bland, just being pretty much white and red, which is a little bit disappointing, but I mean, it kind of fits well with the clown. But really, the only notable thing here is that it is licking an ice cream cone in the shape of a skull. That is pretty much the most unique thing here. Again, I really think we're going to have to see what this thing does to really get a good opinion on it. But overall, I think just for the general design, it looks alright. But once again, I think this thing might have some really cool and unique animation and maybe phrases, which will probably make the prop really unique. Anyways, overall, it's fine, I guess. Again, I just really want to see what it does. Our next prop seems to be a possessed, chained-up woman, I guess you could say. This one actually, surprisingly enough, we have technically a video of it, but that is an unreleased prototype version that Hauntastic owns lo and behold, he's actually the one who found the photos first for the Party City stuff for this year. So that's pretty interesting. But actually, this seems to be a released version of that prop. I'm playing the video for you right now so you could get an idea for the animation. So I just think that's pretty interesting that Party City decided to buy this prop and release it, because originally that was supposed to be a Spirit Halloween prop. And if I'm going to be honest, I feel like that's more fitting for Spirit Halloween in terms of how their props typically are. But it's honestly pretty cool to see it at Party City regardless. And there is blood on its pants, or I guess the bottom of her shirt, which is which is actually a nice thing to see. Again, the blood and creepiness of these props is really good. So the animation you're seeing right now, obviously it is just a slow rise up, and then she shakes and then she resets. But I have a feeling this might be more in line with Demonic Dahlia or Jack Straw's animation, where she'll jump up and then shake a little bit. I feel like there is a good chance that this will be a lunging prop, or it could just be the same animation as the prototype. If that's the case, this will be a pretty boring prop then, in my opinion. But if it is a lunging jump scare prop, I think that will be really cool. Especially since she's chained up, that would be just a really cool thing that would have it, and it would make sense because she's trying to escape and trying to jump out at you. So I think having a lunging animation here would be better than what the prototype has. But anyways, this is still a really cool prop. It is made by Tekky Toys, of course, as well, with basically most of this stuff except for a few props. But anyways, this is still really, really cool and really creepy and unique. I'm looking forward to seeing if it will have that lunging animation, though. Alright, and now for my favorite from Party City this year, which I guess the best way to describe this thing is an insane asylum patient with the Saw 5 water cube on her head, or his head. It's really hard to tell. But anyways, this is a really, really cool prop here. I am really digging this thing. Now, this is unfortunately the only photo we have of it right now, so we can't really get a good idea of what the animation will be or what it will do. But just the sheer creepiness of this thing is so awesome. The straitjacket with the blood covering it is such a cool thing to see. And also the face inside there looks really creepy as well, along with the blood splatters. So I am just really, really loving this thing. I really hope it has some sort of twitching animation. That is probably my best guess for what it will do. But it could have something completely different. I'm not sure yet. Only thing that I'm kind of bummed out about is I'm not 100% sure, but from the cube itself, it looks like the face will just be printed on. It won't actually be a three-dimensional head inside there. It'll just be on the glass itself. But again, I'm not 100% sure. Even when zooming in, it is still too hard to tell. So maybe it will be clear and that will be the actual three-dimensional head in there, or it could just be a picture just put on that. And I'm guessing it'll probably light up inside the cube as well. I'm not sure though. Overall, this seems so awesome, and I'm just really, really loving this thing. This is our last life-size animatronic we'll be looking at, but there are a few tabletops we still have to look at. So I guess let's take a look at a few tabletops, and then we'll wrap up the video. Our first tabletop is probably my favorite, and this seems to be a version of the Face-Off Bear by Tekky Toys. Instead of being a bear, it is just a doll instead. So obviously from this image you could see the hands are covering up the face, and my best guess, of course, it'll lift down and reveal the skull underneath. Overall, it is a cool idea for a tabletop prop. I mean, we've obviously seen this with the Face-Off Bear again. I think I like the Face-Off Bear better just because it's unique as being a teddy bear, which we really don't see very much of. But in terms of dolls as tabletops, we see so many of them. So it's really not all that unique here, but still a cool prop. And if I were Tekky, I would definitely be reusing that same concept for multiple props. So it's cool to see another version of the same idea as Face-Off Bear. The next tabletop item is this pretty cool zombie snake coming out of this box here. I'm guessing it'll have some sort of lunging motion, like it'll try to reach or jump out for your hand. But overall, I think the design is pretty cool. It's not really for me personally. I'm not a big fan of the snake props. Snakes don't scare me in real life. And also, with how much teeth this thing has, the head makes it look like a dinosaur. Like, it doesn't even look like a snake now that I'm looking at it. So this thing kind of looks pretty stupid. And for our final item of the day, what the hell is this thing? Alright everyone, so that was all the items that have been revealed so far. So let me just give my big overall opinion and what I'm really thinking about Party City's lineup right now. So first of all, this is just probably a 8 to 9 out of 10 lineup so far. All these props remind me so much of classic Halloween animatronics, just the goriness of them. This is really bringing back to like stuff we would see during Spirit Halloween's early days, like back during probably the 2012 to 2014 season, how gory and creepy the props got. This is just really bringing me back to that era, and I could not be happier since most people agree that is the best era of Spirit Halloween and just animatronics in general. They were so creepy back then, and it seems like for Party City at least, it's making a comeback like that. So, as for Spirit Halloween, will they be following the same suit by adding blood back to their props and making their props scary again? I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think Spirit Halloween is going for a much more family-friendly marketing approach now, which of course is a huge bummer, but at least Party City has some balls and is making their props scary as hell again. I am a really big fan of their lineup this year, and I am just really excited to see if there's anything else, but overall, if this is all we're getting, I have to say this is still a really solid lineup. But anyways, that is going to be it, everybody. So thank you so much for watching. As always, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Also, check out my merch on my Instagram in the description below. Be sure to let me know what you guys think of these new props. I love them, once again. But that is pretty much going to do it for this video. That was all the animatronics so far from Party City's Halloween 2022 lineup. So, as always, this is the Pixelated Pumpkin, signing out.